Game Awards used to have a lot of small dick energy. The usual AAA slop with the blockbuster budget, a popular brand, but the same recycled gameplay backed by even smaller dick corpos, because that's all we are to them. An easy fucking cash grab. I mean, profit is everything that drives a business to continue doing its business, but when you show lack of care straight up to your consumer's face, you've reached a point where you don't empathize with your audience. And that's fucked. Yet every fucking year, they somehow land at least a few goty nominations. And then you have big dick energy titles. Stuff with real oomph, like Silksong and Expedition 33. Games made by a small group of passionate devs taking these mega corpos head on. But I'm a little different, you see, a little bit nuanced. I like a little bit of both in my life. Some days I just want to mow down people and play a medic on a battlefield, ignoring every motherfucker on the fray. Medic! And some days I just want to sit down and enjoy a good piece of art that moves me. Big dick, small dick, I love them all. But this video isn't about those type of games. It's about the outlier problem. Let me explain. Amidst the hype of all the big dick energy games that came out this year, lies a pool of games that are just as good as any of the contenders on the goty nominees right now. And I bet my left nut that a lot of you haven't heard of games like The Drifter, for example. Trust me when I say this, that no amount of description would do justice to how good this game is. Because a description would be boring, and this game is anything but boring.
Staying out here, Mr.
Carter, and I'm not staying out here. Jesus, will you put that thing away? Wait!
You gotta break out of that head of yours, Mick. Talk to Sarah.
What you did wasn't enough. You have to violate his grave?
Since I got back, I've been shot at, half drowned, frozen. I died. I came back. Back in time.
I mean, you know how it sounds. The stress and everything. It's probably just...
In my head, I know.
Jesus, this is you. You killed that man. Psychosis is always a risk in treatments.
Say the patient attacked. Got the DI's gun.
The caretaker eyes me with a look of disgust.
I told you to leave.
But I'm here for a bloody funeral.
Are you deaf? I said get lost.
If there's one thing I hate, it's pompous, self-righteous, hypocritical... Okay, that felt good.
Drop it now, talk later.
So you can dump me in the reservoir again? I hold the flame under the rag until it lights.
Not gonna do you no good, boss.
You bastards!
Without spoiling too much, this mystery thriller has one of the best story arcs, voice acting, bundled together with the most gorgeous pixel art style I've ever seen in this genre. It it chewed, devoured and spat the charts out of its place so incredibly well that The Drifter already won the Game of the Year at the Australian Game Dev Awards 2025. And yet, it doesn't land on the goty nominations. Why? Because everyone's busy tickling the expedition's ballsack, and I get it, I'm guilty for particularly partaking in this endeavor, but that's the outlier problem. Games like Expedition 33 and Hollow Knight's Silksong are the outliers. These are games that have broken out of their niche and successfully landed in the mainstream platform. Games whose hype train ensures their inevitable success or failure, depending on how good the game actually is, of course. But then there are other games that have blown away the narrative, visual and technical feel, all just as worthy of equal praise, but hardly get recognized. Their big dicks never really see any time in the sun. These outliers don't hit mainstream popularity in a day either. It doesn't happen on launch. Take the original Hollow Knight for instance. Hollow Knight is a slow burn. For those of you who aren't familiar, it's just like Silksong. It builds slow, and as you play, you tend to unlock more mechanics, loot, and dive deeper into the atmosphere, environments, and characters. This depth comes gradually, and most of us don't like gradual. We have shit retention spans, even if we don't like to admit it. So we aren't very forgiving to games that don't immediately hook you. Hollow Knight Knight launched to critical acclaim, but was bound to Metroidvania fans and indie gamers. It only became an outlier when it finally grew over time, and the more it fed itself in popularity, the more mainstream it got. Players who played it initially and bounced off returned just to experience it and give it a second chance. Because that's the other thing killing games. It's the importance of popularity. How everyone is attracted to games that seem popular but would not give a chance to a game that is just as good but isn't mainstream material. You know what, let's take another example. Another one of my favorites of this year is Ender Magnolia, a Metroidvania that takes a fun spin on combat, and instead of using weapons, you use summons to attack. So every time you see an enemy, you basically go,
もうちょっとだけ試してやるか。
Every boss, by the way, that you slay in the game turns into your summon. It's like collecting Pokemon, and it's fucking amazing. It's innovative on a clearly iterative formula. And again, sadly, this game got completely overshadowed by the release and hype train of Silksong. Then there's 100 Line Defense Academy, a game that's a hybrid of a visual novel and a tactical RPG with fully voiced, mapper-level cutscenes and 100 different endings.
No, that's a lot of
Endings. Just like any other game in the industry at the moment, exposure kills it or makes it for that game. No matter how cool or unique it may have been, it means nothing if it doesn't reach the audience. And since popularity and exposure are the biggest issue, the biggest problem surrounding the death of good games, I want to specifically talk about the biggest contributors to this problem, the Game Awards. Not for what Game Awards does, but how it operates. To begin with, the Game Awards picks its jury. It comprises of 100 game media outlets, likes of which are IGN, GameSpot, and Pride.com. Yeah. These lot are responsible for selecting the nominees for all the categories in the Game Awards. But at least we gamers have a vote in what wins these categories, right? Well, not really. Our votes amount to a whopping 10% of what game wins a category. And the rest of the 90% is up to the jury again. So you have very little say in what wins Game of the Year. The way this industry has glamorized and glorified the Game Awards is by flooding it with new game announcements and grand prestige that really doesn't mean jack shit. And that tells you the system's completely broken and needs to be built from the ground up all over again. I absolutely want to know what you guys think about this and what ideas do you think would work in building a brand new system that promotes games to be pushed on merit rather than popularity. If you like what you see and think this video deserves more awareness, then drop a like and subscribe. Anyways, ponder on that.